Recording in progress.
All right, good morning. Today is Daf Zayin, I believe. If not, we're in trouble. So left off Shkoyach Levi for taking over the last couple of days. A couple lines from the top. So the Gemara is continuing with some Memras now. Is one of Sirtut. We talked about, anger. The results of anger. So 3 lines from the top on Zayin Amud Aleph. So Amar Rabbi Abo Li'olam Al Yatil Adam Ema Yiseir B'Seich Beisa. Shouldn't have a person should have extra angry, too much anger in his house. Shrei Adam Gadol Heitil Ema Yiseir B'Seich Beisa. V'Achilu Dvar Gadol was a great man, Adam Gadol, and because of his anger, it resulted in him eating a Davar Gadol. Right, we'll soon see what that is. Well, Manu, and who was this great man? Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel. So Gemara says, they said they gave him something, gadol, right? Something which was not basically prohibited, right? A great thing they gave him, so he actually ate it. So even the animals, right, of tzaddikim, right, they don't go ahead and eat. The Gemara and Chulin brought over there that the animals of tzaddikim, they wouldn't go ahead and eat other people's land. They knew instinctively no avera would come through them. So that's the animals of tzaddikim. So tzaddikim tzaddikim themselves, you're going to say that a tzaddik was ate davra gadol, which is something forbidden. So Ella bikshu la'achila davra gadol. Rather, they wanted. He almost went ahead and had it. And what was that? My knee was that Eber Minachai, right? He almost had something, some piece of animal that basically came from a live animal. So Shalach leimar ukva l'Rabbi Elazar ben so bnei Adam ha'imdim alai uvayadai l'masram l'malchus mahu. I got these people who are after me, but I have the ability basically to turn them over to the authorities. So Mahu, what should I do over there? What should I do? So Sartut v'kasav lei. So he wrote in Tirtut, right? He wrote in something that was for the letter with the scratches. And he said the kasav lei, and he wrote to him, Amarti eshmara darchi mechatay b'lasheni eshmara lefi machsay or rasha lenegdi. So the pasuk in Tehillim, right? So it says over there that he'll guard his ways from sinning. Right, and he'll be machsom libi. So it's afisha Russia lenekti. So it says over there, even though a Russia is right confronting me, ashma lepi machsom. Right, that nevertheless I will keep my mouth covered. I'll muzzle my mouth, even though a Russia is after me. So shalach le kamatzarli tuva, but he's really bothering me. However, I'm not sure I could be able to withstand this. So shalach le daim laHashem v'yischol lo. So it says over there, Daim Hashem. What does it mean? Dom Hashem, right? So it says over there that Dom Hashem. What does that mean? Dom also coming from the word not just over there where it means to wait, but it means rendus, right? In other words, Dom Hashem, and then he'll have corpses follow. What does this mean? Bodies follow. So Hashkem ba'erev aleim the base of Medrash. Go when the sun is red, i.e., early in the morning and late in the afternoon, be in the base medrash, and they will go ahead and fall on their own. So in other words, go in the base medrash and learn. I know he's bothering you, but don't worry, just learn and it'll take care of himself. And then the matter, the advice came from the words of Rabbi Elazar. And so that this Geniva, I guess, who was the one who was bothering him, he was turned over to the authorities. So Shalach Leilamar Ukva is Zimra Minolan Diaser. How do we know that Zimra, right, the music, I guess now during the Khurban is Aser. So started the Kasav Lei. So once again, he did the Sirtut and he wrote him in a letter. Al Tismach Yisrael Gil Ba'amim. So it says over there that they should not rejoice like the other nations. So now it's from there you see that they shouldn't have this music. Now, I guess during this time, I've lishlach lo mihacha. Why don't you say from another passage? It says Bashir lo yishtu yain yemar shechel l'soisav. So it says over there that they shouldn't have and drinking wine and having song, right? So why don't you use that pasuk? So it says, if it was from that pasuk, I would have thought Hani Mili Zimra Damana, only maybe musical instruments. The Puma is Shari, but just singing alone would be okay. So Kamash But for the other pasuk, any type of music, right? Not for the purpose of Simcha or a mitzvah, those would be prohibited. So Amarle Rav Huna Barnas.
What does serving have?
So that was the way they wrote the letter. The way they wrote the letter, right from before, right? By so it says speaking of sirtuts of the letters we had before. Speaking of that, so therefore other examples of when they wrote them back. Besirtut, and others that this this letter should stand. Gives them more chashivas. So Amarle Rav Huna Bar Nasan Rav Ashi, my was pasuk mean Kina v'Dimayna v'Eda. So these are different cities over there in Sefer Yoshua. So regarding the border, Samarlei, Amisavsa there to Yisrael chashiv. Right. So he says, well, these are the border towns, the different towns in Eretz Yisrael. Certainly, I don't know that. I know they're the towns, right? But what do they really mean, right? Ella Rav Givai Margiza. So Rav Givai from Argiza was there. So Amarle Tamo. So Tamo Kol Sheish Lakina. So you can darshan from the pasuk. He was like a darshan. So he says, right? What was the pasuk was? Let me just find right. Kina v'dimane v'dada. So he says Kina Chavera the Daimim. Right? If one who goes ahead and says he is a reason to be angry with his friend, that he's quiet, he doesn't act upon it. Sheikhin adiyad, aisaladin, right? Then he was adiyad, right? He will eventually do the din with him. Notice, don't take matters in your own hands. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of it eventually. So Amarle Elamiyata tzaklag medamna v'sana hachinami. So what about this pasuk? Amarle ihavi ragvia mibe argiza hacha. Look, if Ragvia from Riyaza was here, how about Marabali Tam? He would have said the reason. However, I'm not sure. I have no idea. And Ravacha Mibei Chuzay Amar, but Hachi Kol. So he says no. Kol Misha Tzakas Legima Achavero. Person, let's say, has claims on his friend. Let's say he's stealing from him, or he's taking his livelihood, his mezainos, the daimim, and he's quiet. Sheikhin Besneh. He who resides in the sneh, Kosh Baruch Hu Eiselatin, will come to go ahead and take judgment out upon him. So Amar Leiresh Galusa Rav Huna. So it says Reish Galusa says Rav Huna. So Kalila Minel. So how do we know this Kalila, this crown, right? That was worn by Chasanim, right? It was a Torah for Chasanim. How do we know that those are Minel and Diasr? How do we know that's Asr? So Amar Lei Midrabanan. It's like Zera Midrabanan by the Churban, the Tanan. So Pumas shall Aspasinus. Goes through al tarais chasanim value. So he says over there that actually saw us at the end of Sota. No, thank you. Sure. Yes. So he said during the final siege of Vespasian. So they made a decree upon the crowns of the grooms and also on certain musical instruments. Now they have it because of the sorrow and the sadness. So Rav Huna. So meanwhile, Rav Huna went to go, I guess, leave, go to the bathroom. So Rav Kizda Krag is actually a pasuk. It says, Ko Amar Hashem Elokim, Heisir Hamitz Nefes v'Harema Torah. Right. So it says when you remove the mitz nefes, right? The turban, right? Then you take off the crown and zois lo zos. Right, and that which is higher and that which is lowered, and which is high is lowered. So the pasuk says there, they remove the mitznefes and take down the crown. Remove the turban, take down the crown. So what does it mean? What does the turban have to do with that Torah, with the crown? While the mitznefes is referring to that which is the headgear of the Kohen Gadol, when that is upon his head, i.e., during the Zman of the Beis Hamikdash, then Atar B'Rosh, then he goes ahead and brings the Torah, then the crowns, the Chasanim, we go ahead with the crowns. However, so Kol Adam, Anisaka means Neves, Rosh Kol Adam. Then, so the Torah can be worn by any man, i.e., in Chasanim. However, once the turban, the headgear, the mitznefes of the Kohen Gadol was removed from the head of the Kohen Gadol, i.e., no more Beis Hamikdash, no more avoda, then it is not appropriate for chasanim, for grooms, to be going ahead wearing the crowns. So Rav Huna returned to Ashkinu, the Havi Yasi, so they were sitting. My goodness, it's actually midrabanan. All right, so it's midrabanan. It's not a pasuk. It's not ground the pasuk. It's a midrabanan. He says, your name is Chizda, and your drushes are, chasidecha, right? They're naim, right? They're pleasant. They're pleasant drushes. So Ravina Ashke Lamar Bar Ravashi Dahavi Godil Kalila Barti. So Ravina found that Ravashi was making also a crown, some sort of headpiece for his daughter. What the pasuk says, when the turban is moved, then the crown should also be removed. He says no. Amalei do with the Kohen Gadol, something to the Kohen Gadol. A begami, which is by men. Avabanashi lo, right? It has to do with the Kohen Gadol, i.e., which is male, but the female. There's nothing to do with it, so therefore, the males cannot go ahead and wear the crowns, i.e., the chasanim, but the kalas, he can still wear some sort of headgear. So my zos lo zos. What does the pasuk mean? Zos lo zos. It's in that pasuk of the mitznefes in the Atara. So darash Rab Avira mizimnim, and sometimes zimim amalei mishmei Ravasi. Sometimes it was in the name of Ravami. So the Ravasi. B'shah shamar Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael hasim mitznefes v'arim Atara. Right, when the turban is removed and the crown is going to be removed. So Amrim Melchi Hashares, i.e., the destruction of the temple. Melchi Hashares says, "Lifnei Hakadosh Baruch Hu Ribono Shalom Zos." Right, this nation, the Heavenly Israel, Sheikdim Lefenecha B'Sina and Nasav and Ishma. Right, that they said Nasav and Ishma before Harsina, before even Rasina Torah. That says, right, we'll do it and we'll listen. You're going to treat them like that, Zos. Samar Lahen, Lo Zos. No, not this. Why? What do they do? Lahen Yisrael Sheshvilas Hakavod Vikviyas Hashevel V'Amdiu Etzem B'Heichal. And they're not deserving of it. Lozos, in other words, they went ahead and they lowered that which was high, i.e., the Shem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they raised the idols and they raised these lower things. They raised them up. Yes, they are deserving of punishment. So Darash Rav Avira, we are like 6 lines from the bottom. 3, 6, yeah. Sometimes it's in the Ravami, sometimes it's in the Ravasi. My Dachsiva is about to mean Kol Hashem, Im Shlemim, V'chein Rabim, V'chein Nigozu V'Yavar. So it says over there, what does it mean? That if they're whole and they're in multitude, right? And then they do Geniza and they will pass. What does it mean? Imra Adam if a person sees somebody or even himself that his money, right, his assets are diminishing, right, they're minimal. Yasem and tzedakah, should go ahead and give tzedakah. Go ahead and give it tzedakah, even though you appear lacking. But kol shechen shem Reuben, certainly when he's missing a lot. V'chein nignos v'yavar. No, as I said, when you shear, when you take off, right, you remove a little bit, right, then you'll be able to pass. In other words, so in order for it to pass, take off some. So if you don't have money, give a little tzedakah, right? Give a little, right? So give a little tzedakah, then it will pass. Then you'll pass through. And we see that, and then Tanabe Rishon Kol Hagaizes Min Achas of Yisem and tzedakah needs some Adina Shaganim. Whoever person goes ahead and he takes off from his assets, from his money, and he makes tzedakah, then he will be saved from the din of Gehenim. So mashal shei rechilos shahayu oibros b'mayim. It's like a mashal to 2 sheep that are crossing through the river and through the water. Achas gezuza v'achas ein gezuza. One is very heavy and bulky, and therefore when it goes in the water, it gets its wool very wet and it gets weighed down. And then the other was shorn, right? That does not have any fur. So gezuza abra v'shein gezuza lo abra, right? The one that's shorn that doesn't have a lot of bulk to it, that one goes through, but the one that is weighed down with the wool, the one that is weighed down with too much money, too much assets, and didn't give it away, didn't shear it, then that one will not pass. And it says over there, right top of the page, and it says over there, then it will afflict him. Even a poor person who is getting supported from the tzedakah charity, nevertheless, he himself should do tzedakah. In order that he should no longer be in poverty. And Tani Rav Yosef, therefore, he won't see any more signs of poverty if he goes ahead and gives tzedakah, even if he has minimal means. Fine, 2 dots, top of the page of Zion and the base. So back in the Mishnah, those of you recall, right? So we gave different northern borders, eastern borders, southern borders, right? Didn't say western. That's the Yom. So it says over there. So Lamemra. So one of them was the Akko Litzfaina. Are you telling me that Akko is all the way to the northern border of the Eretz Yisrael?
For what?
For Eretz Yisrael, in other words, what is considered to be Medinas Hayam, and what is considered to be Eretz Yisrael? Because Medinas Hayam, a person has to say. And Eretz Yisrael, you don't have to. You can assume whether either you have to find the witnesses there or it was written lishma. So those could be assumed, and therefore, if we never need to find the witnesses, we'll be able to find them. As opposed to if it comes from overseas, then you need to. Where is overseas? So then our Mishnah listed some of the borders, and Rabbi Yehuda says so. Then one of them was Akko. So the name of the Akko, let's find Eretz Yisrael. The Akko is the northern point of Eretz Yisrael. One who is going from Akko to Chaziv. Miyamino lemizrach. Okay, so it's like a riddle, right? He's going to a city, Chaziv, and to his right is east. Okay, so I'll give you the hint, right? Without thinking, right? So he's going north, right? He's going north, right? Never eat shredded wheat or wheat, right? So he says, going on his right, he's walking north. And on his right is east, okay? So over there, that derech is Tameya Mishum Eretz Amim. So that area to the right when he's walking north from Akko, in other words, he's in Akko, which is southern, right, in terms of the place's location. He's going north. So that land over there is considered to be Metame, right, Tumas Amim. There's a Gezerah upon the land outside of Shuk, because there could be bodies there. And it's Pater from Meiser and Shvis and Shemitah, because it's not considered to be Eretz Yisrael. Until you know that this area is definitely Eretz Yisrael. And Mismalo on his left, Lamarav, right, which is west, then that space over there is Tar Mishum Eretz Amim. That's considered to be Eretz Yisrael. One is not Tomei over there unless he knows he's counting with the body. The Chayev is Meiser Shvis, and he's Chayev and Meiser, and also Shemitah. Until you know that area is actually not Eretz Yisrael.
Wait, so what area are we saying?
So he's walking north to his right.
From where?
From Akko
From
up to Kaziv, right? So to his right is Chutz La'aretz, and to his left is Eretz Yisrael. And then once you add Hechan ad Kaziv, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Mishuvaviv ad Lav Lavo. Okay, fine. Until the town of Lavo. So that was the question of how far north you're going. But what do you see over here? You're in Akko, right? And you're going north. There's still parts of it there. It's Eretz Yisrael. So Akko is not the northern border, right? There's areas north of Akko that are still considered Eretz Yisrael, i.e. the portion that's more, on the east, on the west, right on his left-hand side. Right? So no, it's a road. It's a small little area. So a small little area that goes up. Okay, that's part of it. But in terms of the entire west to east, all of it being Eretz Yisrael, that is Akko. When you go above Akko, there's only a small little segment, a little piece of area, strip that is considered to be Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, it's a little picture of the Rashi, right? It sort of turned upside down because he always has, the west is on the top, right? Yeah. So, but that was the picture. Now, so it says V'yav Tanis Simani. So to understand, you can use a small strip as a simon. Yeah. So we actually have another pasuk that uses a strip or a small road as being a simon for direction. The pasuk says Vayomer Hinei Chag Hashem B'Shilo. So Chag Hashem Shilo. Right, for all the days, Hashem Mitzvayna, which is north the Beis El, Mizracha Hashemesh L'Masila Ha'ela Misel Shchema. Right, by the road, right, the Masila that goes from Beis El north to Shechem, Uminegel Levana, and south of Levana. So you see over there that even the pasuk uses a road as a point of reference for direction. So it says, and so over there, so Papa says over there, that's referring to the east of the road. So Tani Chada. So now, new subject. Tani Chada. Hamevi get the svina smackle of Zayin base. So one who goes ahead and brings a get on a boat, right? Like a boat, l'chayra in Eretz Yisrael, right? Hamevi get shenichta b'svina v'kosal kodayim shmin Rashi the Benaros Eretz Yisrael. We're referring to rivers in Eretz Yisrael, right? So one who is bringing a get on a boat, right, in Eretz Yisrael, Hamevi Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, it's like he's bringing Eretz Yisrael, and therefore he does not have to go ahead and say. But Tani, we have another price that says Kamevi B'chutzar. It's like he's bringing it from overseas, and therefore he would be required to say it was written in sign in front of me. So Rabbi Yehuda Kasha, Ha Rabbi Yehuda, Ha Rabbanan. So machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanan in another scenario. Where is that? That now we learn in the Mishnah. Afar chutzlarts heavy b'svina lerets. So let's say you have earth. Right, from Chutzarts that was brought in a boat to Eretz Yisrael, and then you plant in there. Chayiv b'maiser v'shvis. Then you're chayiv and maiser and shvis in this earth that's being brought on this svina. Now, Rabbi Yehuda, Emasai, when we say that is chayiv b'zman shasvina gosheshes, we're talking about when the boat is gosheshes, right? In other words, that is basically planted. It's in the ground, right? It's on the ground. It's grounded, right? But if it's not grounded, then it's pater because it's not attached to the ground. So therefore, the one opinion that says on the boat you have to say it is because it's detached. It's like it's moving. It's not moving. The one that says you don't have to say it, it's because it's attached to the ground in Eretz Yisrael. Abai Omar, no, Rabbi Yehuda. You can even say both of them are Rabbi Yehuda, like Kasha comes man sheina svina gosheshes, and comes man sheina gosheshes. You could say, and therefore, no, one is the time when it's moving, one is the time when it's not moving. And on Rabbi Zera says, Atis nakuf, hamunach, and similar machlokes. So we say that if you have a pot, right, a perforated pot with holes underneath it, right, which basically sort of makes it attached to the ground. The earth, it kind of comes in contact with the ground. So Atis nakuf, hamunach al gabi sedos. Let's say it's on pegs. It's on a stand, so the earth of this pot, right, is not exactly touching the ground. It's it's hanging. It's a foot over the ground. So against Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanan. The Charetz Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanan. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's not attached to the ground. Therefore, it's not considered to be attached to the ground. And according to Rabbanan, even like we saw on the boat, even if it's moving, it's not attached to the ground. It's still considered like it's connected. Rava, no, Dilbalai, that's not the case. Maybe over there only Rabbi Yehuda said that in the case of the boat that has to be moving. El Besfina. Why? Because Hasuya Libroch, right? Because that's made to go ahead and move. But something that is not made to be to move, right? To be in motion, right? Therefore, maybe he says that it doesn't have to be attached. Or so the boat is always moving unless it's attached. Therefore, if it's just on a boat, it's like it's detached, and therefore it's not connected to the ground. Inami, or you could say ad kan like in the Rabbanan Hasam. Only over there the Rabbanan say it's considered to be attached, or it's not attached. Elbesvina, the lay mafsika, where it is considered to be attached in the boat. Why? The lay mafsika vira, right? And because there's no air in between, right? The maya kiaras, and there's no air in that case, the Maiki are smichata damya, right? Because the water is considered to be like on the land. But when it comes to air, there's a separation. So maybe when it comes to the water, the reason why it's considered to be like Eretz Yisrael is because the water is still considered, right? It's still physically attached. It's attached to the water. But when it comes to Avir, that is a gap, and therefore in that case, it's considered to be not connected. All right, we'll stop here. So Mirz Hashem, the next 2 days, Shira will try and make it a little longer.